I can't help it. We just click, okay? That single sentence cut through the calm of the living room like a blade of ice. I stood in the doorway, the file folder in my hand almost slipping to the floor. Inside it, the freshly signed contract from this afternoon. Megan, my wife, sat with her head down, her face pale under the warm light, fingers tightening around the teacup. Ethan, my younger brother, leaned against the wall, smirking with the carelessness of someone who knew he'd already broken something that couldn't be fixed. My mother, Helen, sat on the sofa, frowning slightly but saying nothing. My father, James, looked away, eyes filled with a quiet guilt he didn't know how to carry. My name is Alex. I'm 36 and have worked in project management for over a decade. Megan is 2 years younger. We've been married 10 years. On the surface, our life looked stable, but beneath it, cracks had already formed. Ethan, 28, was always the good one in my mother's eyes, the son who could do no wrong. For years, the expectations placed on me were tangled with criticism, while Ethan was treated with indulgent affection. Now, as I listened to those words, we just click. It felt like my world was being torn clean in half. What exactly are you saying? My voice was low, almost steady, as if raising it might shatter what was left. Ethan shrugged. Alex, we just have a connection. It's not your fault. It's not ours either. It just happened. Megan lifted her eyes, trembling. I didn't plan this. I just lost control. The air froze. The ticking clock on the wall grew louder with every second. 10 years of marriage, 27 years of brotherhood, all breaking apart like glass scattering across the floor. My mother's expression, part pity, part calculation, made the past come back in sharp focus. The way she had always drawn invisible lines between Ethan and me. 8 months ago, Ethan had moved back home. After college, he tried to make a life elsewhere, but after a breakup and a failed job, he returned. Mother insisted he stay with us just for a while. I agreed, partly out of duty, partly out of nostalgia for the idea of family. I even got him a temporary assistant position on one of my projects, a chance to get back on his feet. He looked grateful, even eager to help. At first, everything seemed fine. He fetched coffee, helped with files, laughed with the team. Megan joined our work discussions sometimes, helping with design feedback. Then I noticed the glances, the small smiles they shared when they thought I wasn't looking. They stayed late together, whispering over laptops, saying it was all about project deadlines. I wanted to believe them. I really did. Then came the Friday that stripped everything bare. I was supposed to attend a company dinner, but canceled last minute and came home early. The kitchen light was on. I heard laughter, quiet, intimate. Megan and Ethan stood shoulder to shoulder, looking at a laptop. His hand brushed hers, a fleeting touch, but I saw it. Their laughter was soft, private, the kind shared by people who'd forgotten the world outside. What are you doing? My voice was calm, too calm. Megan jumped, blocking the screen. Just work, Alex. We're reviewing slides. I stepped closer, taking the cup from her hand. My palms were sweating. Everything suddenly sharpened. The chipped rim of her cup, the wrinkle on Ethan's sleeve, my mother pretending to read a newspaper in the living room, but not turning a single page. After that night, I stopped asking questions. I started recording answers. Not to trap them, but to stop being blind. My childhood had never been filled with open cruelty, just small, daily humiliations. My mother's favoritism was quiet but constant, the kind that shapes you without words. At 16, I got an 8-year-old Ford. Ethan got a brand new Audi. If I stayed out 10 minutes late, my keys were confiscated for a month. If Ethan missed curfew by hours, she just smiled. Next time, be careful. When I applied for college, I spent nights reworking my essays while she took Ethan to a sponsored internship interview, one she had arranged. He was accepted easily. My application was criticized line by line. It felt like waiting outside a lit house, knowing I'd never be invited in. So I learned to survive. to watch, to prepare. Every slight became fuel. Every rejection, a lesson in endurance. That night, I didn't explode. Divorce crossed my mind, but clarity came first. I didn't fight, didn't beg, didn't cry in front of anyone. Instead, I quietly began to reclaim control. A few days later, I moved out into a small apartment in Minneapolis. It was nothing special. One room, thin walls, a view of the neighbor's trees. But it was mine, and it was quiet. I started therapy. Each week, I unpacked the years of humiliation and guilt, the family's imbalance, my constant need to prove myself. The therapist didn't judge. She helped me separate what needed closure from what needed time. She helped me understand that healing wasn't forgiveness, it was structure. Work became my refuge. I poured myself into new projects, rebuilt networks, delivered results. Within months, I earned a promotion. For the first time, I didn't feel like I was performing for approval. I was performing for me. Then came Emily, a restaurant manager I met at an industry event. Sharp, kind, grounded. Her family was nothing like mine. Warm, open, uncomplicated. At her weekend gatherings, people laughed, helped, cared. For once, I saw what normal affection looked like. I also started studying finance, not out of greed, but strategy. I learned to make my own decisions, to track, save, invest, and protect. Every number I mastered felt like reclaiming a part of myself I'd lost to chaos. Meanwhile, I didn't stop observing Megan and Ethan. Not spying, documenting. Every report, every expense sheet, every questionable message between them at work. Patterns emerged. Ethan mishandled reimbursements. Megan defended him too quickly. I archived everything. Dates, signatures, email threads, timestamps. Revenge, I realized, wasn't about rage. It was about balance. They took my trust. I would take back truth. So I built my plan. Stabilize. Prepare. Wait. And when the time came, expose, not emotionally, but factually. All the old memories, the car keys, the curfews, the endless comparisons, became my sharpening stone. I learned patience. And patience, I discovered, was a kind of power. Months later, my life felt steady. My job thrived. My accounts grew. My world was quiet again. Emily and I shared laughter over beers in her restaurant's kitchen. I'd finally remembered what safety felt like. At the same time, rumors about Megan and Ethan began to spread at work. Whispers they tried to laugh off. They thought they were untouchable, shielded by charm and family. But they had already left a trail, one I'd been quietly collecting. I didn't rush. Like every paper I rewrote for college, every contract I'd ever managed, I waited for precision. Because the best revenge isn't chaos. It's closure. And I was finally ready for mine.